On Wednesday, Sen Sinema, along with Joe Manchin, essentially ended the presidency of Joe Biden when they teamed up with Republicans to kill voting rights legislation and voted to keep the legislative filibuster. So now the proposed rule change would have allowed the Democrats to pass their Freedom to Vote John R. Lewis Act with a simple majority. But without the votes, the two votes of Sen Sinema and Joe Manchin, the filibuster, again, they couldn't get enough votes. Now, those two also refused to support a carve-out for voting rights. Now, following the vote, there was some outrage from Democrats. Even establishment Democrats were pretty angry because, again, this had something to do with voting rights. And so, you have people out there that generally are pretty Democratic establishment friendly over on MSNBC that are just very, very angry. Like, what's going on? How dare Sen Sinema and Joe Manchin block this? Why don't they just do a carve-out in the filibuster? I don't understand. Now, Joe Biden, for his part, he just said that he was disappointed at Wednesday's vote, but not deterred. Not deterred. Now, there was further outrage after a video of Senator Sinema pretty much celebrating with Republican lawmakers. Take a look. There she is, red dress. Fitting. Very fitting. Shaking hands. Getting a nice little pat on the shoulder from, and by the way, that wasn't a Democrat. That was John Kennedy, Republican. First in line, shake her hand. John Kennedy is one of the Republicans that voted to overturn the election of Joe Biden. Yeah. So, but here you have Sinema openly celebrating with the insurrectionist Republicans after killing voting rights. I mean, look, at least Joe Manchin, according to reporters, after the vote, did not linger on the floor. He got the F out of there. But here's Sen Sinema. She is rubbing your face in it. Yeah, so I'm totally corrupt. I'll vote with the Republicans to make sure that you get none of your agenda done. Suckers, you thought I was actually on your side. No. I'm about the money. Give me the money. Give me the money. Give. That's all I care about. Honestly, though, Sinema knows that if she did something to end the filibuster, and Manchin as well, and other Democrats too, then the Democrats would actually be forced to pass something. Like a social spending bill, perhaps. That might actually hurt her corporate donors. And oh yeah, but they can't have that. No, they can't have that at all. You see, the corporate donors and the corporate Democrats, they love the filibuster. Because without it, they might actually get progressive policy that helps people. Oh no, we can't do that. Now last year, and this is according to an article in the Daily Poster, a lobbying group known only as the Chamber, the Chamber, published a memo explaining why the filibuster is so important for business, for the business community. Quote, for example, within 2 months, the House of Representatives has passed a $15 national minimum wage and a radical rewrite of U.S. labor law known as the PRO Act. Because of the filibuster, neither can become law as currently written. In a world without the filibuster, both might be the law of the land. That is until a Republican unified government repealed them. Now, wait, I look at this $15 minimum wage and labor, those are great. They look at it, since they're the Chamber, they think, well, that's terrible. Oh, we can't let that happen. Oh, we can't let that happen at all. And for them, again, terrible because guess what? Their bottom line might be impacted just a little bit. Which is why last March, the Chamber issued a warning to lawmakers that its annual scorecard, which the organization uses to determine its political endorsements and or lobbying, or I should say campaign contributions, would penalize any senators who vote to reform the filibuster or even voted to overrule the Senate parliamentarian, that unelected Senate parliamentarian that you can easily overrule. As David Sirota and Andrew Perez point out in this article, the chamber delivered this threat one day before 8 Democratic senators, including Manchin and Sinema, joined with Republicans in voting down an amendment to overrule the parliamentarians' advice and include $15 minimum wage legislation in Democrats' COVID-19 spending bill. Just one day. Hey, Manchin and Sinema, you better know your place. You're going to get a bad report on our little scorecard. Now, what was their reward? Well, campaign donations, of course. And get this, and this is the most infuriating part. They got an award for bipartisanship. In addition to giving them 100% and 98% scores respectively, they write, for working across party lines. Which at this point, is anybody, does anybody actually believe that the bipartisanship is a real thing anymore in this country? I don't think it is. The only thing that bipartisanship really is, and I'm talking about the old definition, like, oh, the parties working together for the common good. No, that bipartisanship is dead, doesn't exist. Bipartisanship now is serving corporate interests. That's what that means now. Serving corporate interests, by the way, is neither moderate nor what the people elected them to do. And the reason that I bring up moderate is like, oh, no, Joe Manchin, and this is corporate media repeats this lie all the time. Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, they're moderates. And the rest of the party is too far to the left. See, you gotta have the moderates, they're in the middle. No, they're not in the middle. They're actually they're in the way. That's what they are, not in the middle. Maybe they're in the middle of actually getting us something done, along with other corporate Democrats. But that's not moderate. That's a corporate position. Look, guys, our system is corrupt. And it's corrupted by the big money, by places like the chamber. And so in order to fix that, we've got to get money out of politics. Corporate money controlling our elections means corporations controlling our politicians. Just like what we have seen with Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema and many of the others. And it's the major block to actually getting progressive policy.